Morning. What a lovely day for working on the boat. We've got a few jobs to do, and job number one is this. As you can see here, we've got these standard old bits of wood for seats. They're pretty rubbish. We bought some tractor seats. Linda really wants a tractor seat fit into here, and my job is to work out how. And of course the problem is this is angled that way, it's angled that way. How do we fit the tractor seat here? I could weld a plate on, but then it's at a funny angle. How do I do it? So, aeroplane. So my first thought was, if we take off this strip across here and clean up inside this pipe, this tube, inside is about 40 centimetres, so 4 centimetres, 40 mil. And I've got some 38 mil steel pipe, which I can slide inside is my plan, so adjustable height, I'm thinking about this. But the only thing is I've got to make sure that whatever I do to attach the tractor seat to the pipe that comes in and out, I've got to get the angle right. And I've been trying to work out if there's some kind of adjustment I could make on it. You know, have an adjustable seat, it's going to be quite tricky. Although I've got some good engineering things at home. So what I've done today is come to do some measuring. I have my trusty ruler and my spirit level. Although as boaters will know, spirit levels ain't much use on boats, because as you walk around the level changes. You're like, oh, that's level, no that is, but it gives me a good idea. So I've been doing a bit of measuring. So I've been measuring the height on here, the distance to the top across there, so I can work out a triangle for the angle that way. I can work out a triangle backwards and forwards along the length of the boat. That actually wasn't nowhere near as much as I thought. It was only 10 mil. So with a bit of calculation, I can work out the angles and then knock up a trial in my garage and see if I've got it right, fit it, see if it works. And then if it does work, I can make it far stronger and more rigid, and then move on to the other one. So that's my plan. I hope it works. There's some really deep rust pits, which you can sort of see uncovered here, where the paint looked okay, but then underneath there was a little pit. So we're going to get that up where we can. I mean, you can never get it perfect. And then prime the metal and put some primer on, some undercoat, and do it best we can. So this is the floor that Lynn's been working on. That's just the sun making it look a different colour. It was horrible, because I started to rub it down and the paint that was on top all just started peeling off. It wasn't on very well at all. So we've had some peeled off, some didn't. So we've used some red oxide metal primer, particularly for where it was like bare metal like there, and loads of spots there. And we'll put another coat of that on tomorrow, give it a rub down, and then get it back to green. So Linda's been sterilising the tank, and we've left the stuff in for a few hours. Half it was overnight, we had to buy some more. And now we've got the long process of drain all the water out, fill it up again, drain it all out again. But I'm not sure when it was last sterilised. Certainly needed doing. Well, here I am in my garage, and my job today is to somehow make this fit our boat. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to use some kind of, oops, here's a piece of metal boat tube to fit inside the ones we already have, and here's a template I've made up for the bottom of there. And my plan, I hope it works, is 5 mil thick steel, easily weldable, to cut this to the right angle. Actually, it's not this one, it's a thicker tube. This was my sort of model. I've got some 3 mil tube, 3 mil wall, that's only about a mil, not strong enough. And I've got to mill the end to 9 degrees according to my calculations, then weld a plate on in that shape, and then the thing will fit perfectly. Nothing can go wrong there, I'm sure. So I've got my trusty milling machine. I don't think I'll need my lathe this time, but I've got a lathe if I need it. So basically, I've got lots of stuff to do, and I better get on with it. So first job is to cut through this pipe. It's very thick. The easiest way is with my angle grinder. It's a bit noisy. So ear defenders. I have got tinnitus from riding and racing motorcycles for years. So I'll look after my ears now. In fact, talking of racing motorcycles, do you want my display? Offerings to the gods of speed. Boy oh boy have I blown some engines up and melted bits of metal. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this. Chop that in half. Turn it round so I can do the back bit. Success! So that's that job done. You may have noticed the sparks flying everywhere, particularly hitting me down here. If you look at that purple jumper I sometimes wear when I'm on the boat, it's got West 1 written on it, it's my old dispatch riding jacket. There's a hole just here where I actually set fire to myself using my grinder, just grinding away. Also, that's that burning smell. It was me. Oh well. Right, now it's time to put that in the milling machine, 9 degrees. So first of all, I've got to fit a new cutter, a nice long one, side cutter. Right, that's nice and tight. So now all I've got to do is adjust the the head miller to 9 degrees, and there's an adjustment here. I'll zoom in and show you. There we are. So there's the angle. Obviously it's currently set to the correct angle, 0. I have to take this plug out here, release this Allen bolt here, twist the head to 9 degrees, and then I can mill off the end at the angle I want, or any other angle if that's wrong. So that's the pin you have to pull out so you can move the head. I've loosened this already. So now I move all that across to 9 degrees. Looks like 9. It's a bit dirty, I should have cleaned that up first. Yeah, I make that 9 degrees. And now obviously tighten this back up, otherwise I'll be in a right mess. Now I can get milling. So here's my pipe. Get that in position and locked up. That seems okay. Right, get this on. So that's ready set up. You can see the angle. Oh, wrong way. And nice gentle cut. It's going to take a while. Now I know fully qualified or experienced machinists amongst you will point out things I'm doing wrong. I'm not an engineer by default, but I've worked in engineering, learnt a bit from people and sort of get by. And that works for me. Certainly for the racing stuff, you're mostly making smaller things, spacers and brackets and foot pegs, and I've got pretty good at that. So that's the job finished. I'll just deburred it quickly, and so you can see from this angle quite clearly that's 9 degrees. Sorry it's a bit dark. I have to turn the lights off in here when I'm filming because I've got fitted new LED lights and they flicker on the camera. Anyway, so there it is, nicely deburred, nice angle. If it's too much of an angle or too little, I can always modify it very easily. As you can see, it's very easy to do on a milling machine. So now to make something to weld to there, to weld the plate to. So I've marked out the base plate to cut out for the seat. I'm now going to cut that shape out. It would take ages with a hacksaw, especially in this 5mm thick steel. So once again, I'll be using my grinder. So here we go. That got a bit hot. I nearly set fire to myself again. But I was aware. So that's that bit made. And it fits the seat nicely. Oops, pulling around a bit. Fits in there nicely. Just got to drill some holes. Drill 4 holes, mounting holes, bolt it on. That's the next stage. So there's the plate I've made. I've drilled the holes, ready to mount up and plonk it on the actual post. We'll see how it works. So there's what I'll be doing. I'll be welding that to there. The trouble is, it's not that simple, because do I weld it at that angle, that angle, that angle, that angle, that angle, that angle? Because until I get to the boat, it's not fully sure that this is the right angle. So it's going to take me a bit of working out. I'm not quite sure how to do it yet. So I'm going to have my lunch, cup of tea and have a think. So there we are. I've tack welded it in position. Brackets made, bolted on. Just tack welded it in that position. I'm hoping that's right. The only way to check really is to get on the boat and do the next bit of the job. But it's been quite a successful morning.
Hello, back again this afternoon. Been having my hair done. Anyway, we're now going to go out for a test drive to check that that horrible noise is gone. I'm praying because I cannot stand any more moaning.
Hey, it's horrible. I hope it's gone. And what else we're going to hope to do?
I'm hoping to get one of the tractor seats fitted that I got for my Christmas present. We're going to do one today, and hopefully then, if that works and everything, he's calculated all the
angles right
correctly, angles and everything, then he'll go home and do another.
So hopefully we get that cut off, but we need to be on the cut to grind that off. You can actually book the front of the marina, they just told us, didn't they? But yeah, we need to book it and they write it down when we're covered. But we're going up the cut anyway. Right, let's get off. Well, it's all going well on our test. It's beautiful and warm today, at last. No rain.
And some heat.
Engine's quiet so far, it has to warm up fully before that noise comes. But we both said straight away, this sounds quieter, didn't we, coming out of the marina? That's without the horrible noise, so that's quite encouraging. I know I've said it loads of times already, but the Sturt really is nice. Mind you, Wat Canal isn't really. Well, the Rochdale 9 through Manchester, that's pretty horrible. But they're all really, really nice bits, isn't it, everywhere. Oh, another plane.
Right, it's probably very dark, unless you can see anything. But this is my husband cutting off a piece of metal on top of the seat where the tractor seat's going to go. He's got his grinder off and he's grinding it down. And there we have the pole with no fixing or seat. So this is the test. He's now going to put it in. Woo! A tractor seat is there. Is it at the right angle? We want to know. Is it at the right angle, Mr. Baker?
I think so.
Ooh!
Oh, that is nice. So I guess who's going to try it out now? Come on.
It was my Christmas present.
How is it?
There's a little problem.
What?
The legs are too short.
It's perfect for me.
Is that side any lower, do you think?
It can be as low as you want it to be.
It's going to have to be a bit lower because I want to be able to put my feet on the ground.
You little titch.
I'm not.
Impy Baker.
I am the perfect size.
You're not the perfect size for that seat.
Well, I am if I had a little stepping stool here.
I'm quite pleased with that, looks good. Step off, let's have a look at the angle. Yeah, that's good. So while I was here I chopped off the other little temporary seat. We're really quite pleased at how that fits. The angle's about right. I might do another half a degree for Linda's. But you know, what's perfect, who can tell? I'm really chuffed at that. I'm going to take mine home and strengthen it, paint it, but that's brilliant. Well, what a successful day or two that's been.
Lots of jobs ticked off the list.
I mean, this morning we were here really early, weren't we? And got the drained the water stuff because we got the...
Drain the sterilising fluid.
That's what I'm trying to word looking for.
Then we put in a couple of gallons, rinsed it, couple of gallons, rinsed it, couple of gallons, rinsed it, about 5 or 6 times till it started to come a little bit clearer. And then we put in the full 120 litres, which took... Gallons, sorry. Which took 26 minutes.
Oh yeah, we timed it.
We had a bet,
so
and I won.
So that was that job done. You did win, yes. So that's that job done. Since then, we sort of went home, get some other stuff done, came back having made the first of the...
tractor seat holders.
I can't get my words today. The tractor seat holders. And we fitted it on. It's not permanently fitted, but it's slotted in lovely. I did an angle of 9 degrees. I reckon I need another degree. I reckon I ought to do it 10. So I'm going to do it 10, do another one, because it worked really well. And I'll do yours 10 as well. I haven't measured your side, but I'm presuming it's exactly the same.
I never presume anything.
Maybe I'll measure that.
I would measure it.
But doesn't it work well? It's lovely sitting on the tractor seat. Not only that, we're ticking off the jobs before we go away in July. One was fill the stern gland grease thing. I know it's only a small job, but I've done that. We've pretty well done stacks.
Fixed the fender hoop at the front.
I've welded the fender hoop. Oh, and one other thing. We've just been out for a test cruise.
And yes! No noise.
No engine noise. That water pump solved
beautiful.
It. We're out for about 3 hours, and also we left the engine running for a long time because when we moored up, because we couldn't do welding and grinding in the marina, not moored here anyway. Apparently you can book the front bit, he told us today.
Yeah, I know.
You can book, right up by the dry dock. But anyway, so we went up the cut, did some welding, did some grinding, and got all that done. And so the engine was running for a good 3 hours or so. And it's running perfectly. So it's
actually quite quiet. It's quieter than it was before, I think.
Yeah, we noticed that. It wasn't just a horrible screech. As we pulled out our marina, I was thinking, this engine sounds quieter, but I'm just imagining that. And when Linda turned around to me, not being an engine person, but nonetheless, and you said...
This engine sounds a lot quieter.
So I think that's a success. So we're on a bit of a high today. We've got the culmination of lots and lots of planning and work.
And put a second coat on the bow floor, which is looking a lot better. I shall put the top coat on.
And you know what I'm going to do now?
Sunday or whatever.
Go home.
I'm going to go home.
Have a pizza.
A very, very large glass of red wine.
And another large glass and another. I think today we deserve it. Real success. All this hard work we've done on the boat over the last months, and you've seen our ups and downs. It just really feels today it's all coming together. We're so close. So,
and just thinking, 5 weeks today, we leave on our journey.
Right, this is seat number 2, or Linda's seat, of one on the right. And we made this, and yesterday went and tested it on the boat. And when we when Linda sat on it, you line it up, it was really level with the boat across here. We're really pleased, but it was tipped like that. You see, so it tipped more that way than it should have been. Now I did this one a couple more degrees than mine. Mine I did at 9 degrees. I wanted a little bit more. I calculated 2 degrees, so I made that 11 degrees. Well, 10.5 I did actually on this. Did the 10.5, and it was completely different to mine. I'd assumed that the 2 rods coming out of the boat, the 2 tubes coming out of the boat were identical in position. They're not. Big assumption, rather silly. Anyway, what we found yesterday with Linda was, we can obviously, because this tube just sits inside the other one, what we found was if we rotated the seat by about 30 degrees, so you're facing that way, but the seat's looking over there, it was perfect. So, simple job today. What I've done is modified the bracket, twisted the holes around about 30 degrees, and I'm going to remount it. Now there was enough meat on this bracket to fit. I had to chop off a few little bits to make around the edges to make it fit in the space on the seat. But I'm quite pleased with that. That's going to work pretty well. So we'll probably have to go back to the boat tonight or tomorrow and test it, put it in position. Because it's so easy to fit, you just slide it in the tube, test it, make sure it's okay. If we're happy with it, I'll finish off strengthen the weld at the bottom a little bit more, paint it up, bolt it up, and we're done. Now also, I've been to collect some nice bolts, you know, if you can see, stainless steel tapers, and these fit on the seat really nicely. You can see there, look, they fit in there really quite nice. So what I've got to do now is bolt the seat with new bolts in the new holes, go to the boat, put it in position. I'm pretty convinced this will be perfect. Make sure Linda's happy, that's the important point. Then when she's happy, that's done, and I'll go back and perhaps modify mine a little bit. Okay, need to go and bolt this on and test. So we're just testing out the seats. We've brought my niece along, Lucy, and Linda. How is it?
Very comfortable.
They are nice. What do you think, Lucy? You like that?
Yeah, lovely. Sit on this all day.
So what I need to do now is, if we're happy with them, is fix a bolt through the post all the way through front and back on that one and that one.
Have you done your one as well?
I will do.
Did you change mine? Did you change yours?
No.
Are you
So
going to change
I might do mine, change mine another angle a little bit. So unfortunately it's still not quite right. You can see that's tipped to the right. In that position it's level, comfortable, it's exactly what you want. But if I move it around, obviously I've not pinned it in position yet, you can see if I move it here, the front comes up, and facing forwards it's just not quite right. So I've got to do that one again. This one is pretty good actually. It's very slightly low on the left. Are we being a bit pedantic? It's not very, it's just hardly anything. I'll see. So I've got to redo the right one a little bit, and I might do one on the left. But I'm quite chuffed, we're nearly there. One last touch before I paint is the welding I've done on here. Now you might think that looks a bit random, but of course it was a 38mm pipe inside a 40mm tube on the boat, so it rattled a little bit, and even with the bolts there's a tiny bit of movement. So what I did was put the beads of weld in certain shapes, as you can see down there, and then it wouldn't fit inside the other pipe, so then with a bit of filing, just take the high edges off, because obviously it marked it every time you tried to put it in, until it was a really nice firm fit, goes in easy, well not easy, goes in nice and firm, doesn't rock, and then the bolts just locate it. So here's the tractor seats finally bolted in position. You can see the little bolts underneath, and I've got them perfectly level, no shims or anything, though I can always change it if necessary. And Linda is testing it out. Let's see if we get the seal of approval.
I think this is a very nice seat, and I'm very, very pleased with it. It's perfect height, perfect direction, and I've got my cushion on it, so it's
yeah, you would have a cushion.
Comfy. I haven't got as much padding on my bum as you.
Yeah, we're debatable. And we may need...
That's not debatable.
I may need to do a little stand for the feet. I'll probably do that, but I don't think we'll be able to do that before we go away. I'll see if I have time. Well folks, here we are, testing out our seats. What do you think?
The son's got his hat on.
Not the song.
I'm not going to sing the song, don't worry. But I'm very comfortable and I'm very warm. I could just do with a nice cold beer.
Oh,
but
that's
other than that, it's spot on.
Cold beer's a plan. We're ready really now for our long trip. This just feels perfect. A few jobs left, but these seats I can consider done. I've got to take them off and paint the stem, but as far as I'm concerned, job done.
Excellent. Very happy little bunny.
Anyway,
I am.
I hope you've enjoyed our video, or my video this week really, on fitting tractor seats to our boat. It's something we always wanted. We think it's a lot better. It's going to be really comfy, isn't it?
It is.
So if you have enjoyed this, please, you know what to do. Click
like
and subscribe if you would, please. It just helps the channel. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.